There's that music again, boys and girls. That means it is college football season. And this is the 13th season of the Carla and Crappy show. Carla,
Yes.
it's been 13 years since we started doing this.
How? We're not that old.
No, it is impossible that I could have been doing this for 13 football seasons.
Agreed. Same.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
sweet. We've got that worked out. We are joined, as we always are, by on our first show of the season, by AJ, our
Hi.
group of five After Dark correspondent. It's still called the
That's
Group
right.
of Five now, right? Yes,
There are still
Okay,
five
good.
conferences. Power Four.
Power Four.
Actually, no, it's still Power Five because the Pac-12 still exists. Don't ask.
True. Yes.
Still exists.
It still
They
exists.
had media days and everything. It was just two teams, but they still had media days.
They did.
Did they have more than one day, or was it just
No,
media day?
it was just media day.
Media
They
day.
had the
Okay.
mascots on. They had the mascots on a couch, and the beaver did not have a shirt on. So, you know,
As my esteemed colleague, Dan, I'm stealing this from you, Dan Eschenfelder, calls them Tupac
yeah,
because
it's two pack.
Yeah.
Do I have a Pac-2 logo? I sure do.
Pack-
Do I have that in the do I have a big 18 logo? I sure do. Listen, the Photoshop folder is crazy. There's so many weird things in the Photoshop folder that maybe I'll just send to Carla and Crappy to post so you can enjoy
we can
these
do that.
memes as well.
We can do that.
There's a
I
big
would-
20
I would be
logo
happy.
in there when there was rumors that they were going to add two more teams. And so there's a big 20 logo in there somewhere.
That's fantastic. It's weird, and I think that whole season, and therefore this season of the Carla and Crappy Show, it should embrace the weirdness, right?
I agree because Stanford and Cal are in the ACC because
Yeah, the
they
Atlantic
overlook
Coast
the Atlantic
Conference.
Ocean.
Mhm.
It's great.
No, it's
Yeah.
the All Coast. They should just rename it to the All Coast Conference.
They
and then they would
should.
be set. They would be set. They wouldn't have to do this. It wouldn't sound so weird. Right?
Although SMU might beg to differ, but
Well, yeah. Texas
because
is
they're
on
in
the
the
coast.
ACC now too, because
I mean, Texas
everything is weird.
is on a coast, but
Texas has
Dallas
a
is
coast.
very much not on a coast.
No.
Coast. No.
Dallas is on top of a pancake, is what it is. It's flat. It's very flat.
We didn't do a summer show this season because while there was sort of newsworthy stuff that happened, I guess we didn't really, nothing really grabbed our attention, but we do want to get caught up. We have games this weekend. So maybe a version of the theme that you have to write when you went back to elementary school in the fall. What did you do over the summer, Carla?
Yes.
What did you do over the summer?
What did I do over the summer? I chased Derek Mason around Murfreesboro.
Okay.
No, we had an ongoing joke over the summer of Derek Mason is everywhere. And I think that happened after we concluded last season that Middle hired Derek Mason, formerly of Vandy, who was looking for a job and decided to take the job at Middle. And boy, let me tell you, I'm not sure when Derek Mason sleeps.
Okay.
He has literally been everywhere. His face is now on billboards in Murfreesboro, all over, on yard signs that look like election campaign signs.
Okay.
Trying to get people to buy season tickets. He's gone to Rotary clubs and Kiwanis clubs, and they did a tour around Middle Tennessee, and did that over a 5-day period. He was at the Beam signing when they finished up the new Performance Center, the student athlete performance center that's going on the south end of the end zone at Floyd, which, by the way, the Carla and Crappy Show has signed. The Carla and Crappy Show represented on the Beam,
Nice.
and it is officially signed with the hashtag CNC Show. So we are permanently etched in the history of Middle athletics.
That's fantastic.
I can send pictures. We can post those with the show notes because I did take a picture of the signature on there. But yeah, Derek Mason is everywhere,
including the opening credits of this show.
Nice.
Yeah.
Although the one thing I will say though is that
Hmm.
I'm totally not sure how I feel about both of my teams being coached by Vandy expats.
Hmm.
That's a weird feeling.
Well, you see,
That's an excellent point.
Vandy builds character.
The
That's all I got,
cradle,
really.
cradle
Right?
of coaches.
Cradle
Yeah.
of coaches. Real quick shout out to Vandy for not having the cranes holding the big screen in the end zone now. They actually
Yes.
have a proper structure.
Vanderbilt Stadium is
Good for
allegedly
them.
going to be done by the home opener. That's what they keep saying.
Allegedly.
Wow.
Allegedly.
Sprinkle that allegedly around.
That stuff
Yeah.
never works. That never actually happens. But as long as they're getting close,
Yeah.
to playing in a full stadium rather than half of one, that would
Yes.
be fantastic.
So that was kind of my summer.
After watching the Mountain West and seeing San Jose State play in half a stadium, literally
Yes.
forever.
Yeah.
They actually finished that side last season. So now you can see when you watch the game, there's now another side. It used to just be a field, and it was hilarious.
Northwestern says hold my beer.
Mhm. Yeah. Yes.
Although I will say it's actually kind of pretty. Their temporary
It's
stadium.
gorgeous.
It's fantastic.
Gorgeous. But
I don't know how many people they can put in the
Not very
bleachers that they
many.
have set up, but
They have a Hawaii level 15,000
Mhm.
that they can put in that stadium. So they're
Okay.
only playing a couple
Okay.
games there. The Ohio State game this year is in Wrigley.
yes, it is.
Yes.
But the rest of the games aren't.
Mhm.
But let's put on our fantasy hats here and let's pretend Northwestern makes the playoffs.
Mhm.
And they do so in a way where they are hosting.
They host a game
And they host the playoff game
at
on
their
Lake
practice
Michigan,
on Lake Michigan
in December.
This is
Absolute hellscape of a weather situation.
this is where the Big Ten championship game should be played this season.
Agreed.
Now, this had not occurred to me, but now that AJ, you brought that up, it's got to happen. It's got to happen.
Yep.
Yeah, forget
Absolutely
our
has
Soldier Field
happened.
rant. Play it at Northwestern. So
Cowards.
yeah, so that was my summer.
Okay.
Chasing Derek Mason around. I came to Pennsylvania. We had dinner
Mhm.
together.
Yes, we did.
And so took a little trip with the fam. And otherwise just kind of, tried to enjoy summer, worked all the way through.
Mhm.
1 year away. I got 1 year completely completed. That's redundant. I'm tired. But completed 1 full year of my doctoral program.
Nice.
So that's something new that since we ended the show is that I am en route to be, as my students call me, future Dr. Fox.
Future
That's
Dr. Fox.
right. That's
so-
right.
So I'm 1 year down.
Okay.
3 or 4 to go. Don't know.
Okay.
So yeah, that was my summer.
Excellent. That sounds fantastic. AJ, what did you do this summer?
I got a video game and it's so good.
Oh,
I don't think you guys truly understand how good the new CFB 25 game is. So if for those of you who don't know,
Mhm.
about 10 years ago,
Mhm.
EA used to make a series that was very much like Madden, but
Yep.
it was all college football based.
Mhm.
And they got in just a touch of hot water because they made the game and they would put in, I don't know, a number 2 for Texas A&M, who
Mhm.
was a white scrambling quarterback
Mhm.
and was really good at doing that. And everybody went, seems a lot like that's Johnny Manziel. And they're like, no, that's QB number 2. And they would do this. And they got sued. And this is actually where most of the casework for the current NIL situation comes from, is because the players are like, we're definitely in this video game. You definitely have somebody that
Yes.
that looks like him.
I remember
And,
there was an iPhone specific version of that. And I remember playing with someone who looked an awful lot like Terrell Pryor, that quarterback. Definitely not him, but boy,
Yeah.
it looked like him.
So NIL stands for name, image, and
Uh-huh.
likeness.
Uh-huh.
And it's those last 2 that EA was taking advantage of. So they didn't make the game for 10 years because they're like, we can't pay the players to be in the game. So we can't pay them for their name, image, and likeness. Now that they can, literally when all the NIL stuff finally went through and all the laws got passed and all the case stuff happened, the first thing everybody asked was, when's the game coming back? And the response EA got was that they gave was, it's coming. It's going to be a minute
Soon,
but it's coming.
Yeah.
And they didn't just take Madden and reskin it to be a college football game. They made a distinct game that is very, very true to college football. In fact, on the Shutdown Fullcast, a lovely podcast you should all listen to, the producers of the game specifically said when they were putting certain elements and things into the game, is this full cast or is this split zone duo? As a like way to determine how nerdy or how goofy this college football item is. These people understand college football in a very, very real way. The music in most of the like Madden games and NBA games that they make are all various soundtracks. The college football game has I believe it is the DCI Blue Devils playing drumline.
Yeah.
In the menu. They got real marching bands to play real drum cadences. Every single school had to submit, like, what do you play on third down? What do you play on first down? What do the bands play? What songs do you play in the stadium? There's certain things that are missing because of rights. Like Virginia Tech does not have Enter Sandman because Metallica and Lars Ulrich is a jerk, and they wouldn't license the music. But Darude Sandstorm is in there for South Carolina. The game does play neck. That's all I'll say there. They will play neck. Tremendous. But the gameplay is incredible. I am currently 4-1 as Hawaii in my first season starting at Dynasty.
Excellent. Is Hawaii's games are in the TC Chang Athletic Complex?
No. Hawaii is the only stadium that's not actually in the game. They scanned everybody else, but they didn't do the TC Chang Athletics Complex. So you play in like a generic stadium. Okay. Which is fine. And they've specifically said once whatever New Aloha, which is a thing that they're doing, it's been a project in the works for years now. When they condemned it in 2020, when New Aloha is built, they will scan New Aloha and put New Aloha in the game. Okay. But I run the full run and shoot offense. I run the full June Jones 2008 offense. Nice. My quarterback is averaging 480 yards a game. I think he's averaging 4.5 touchdowns a game at this point. Averaging 2 picks though, which is really killing me. I had a game where I threw 5 picks. I won, but I threw 5 picks. I didn't feel great about it. It's terrible at those middle routes, terrible at these post routes. So we got to work on that in practice. We got to really coach him up. I've had to recruit. I've got a couple 2 stars, couple 1 stars. Nice. Took a shot at some 4 stars, but I found a bug in the game, which is for whatever reason, all the players from Hawaii say that Hawaii is not close to home. I'm like,
well, it could be a whole other island.
Sir, you are saying that you are from Manoa, which is where the campus is. I don't know how much closer to home I can get. Okay. So it's a fun thing that you have to do. If you're doing a dynasty, you have to do all the recruiting. Okay. You have to text. There's certain things in there, like you can go through their social media. There's all of these various things. I haven't got into the creative player, but apparently the creative player, like members of the other sex will text you in the game. Okay. And it's like they tried to make it as accurate as possible. So it's amazing. All the real players are all very much in the game. The scans of them, all the way they play, their names are in the game. They also all got, I believe it was $500 or $600 and a copy of the game. Okay. And every single player signed up. And I don't know, Carla, you've had to deal with 22-year-olds, 18 to 22-year-old students. How easy is it to get them to sign things?
Not usually, but if there's money involved, then yes.
So they had to get 11,000 players to sign up. The NFL, when they do the Madden games, there's one contract. It's with the NFLPA. So they only have to do it once. The NIL deal, they had to do 11,000 individual NIL deals, and they did. And they got it all done in 2 weeks. And everybody I know who's talked to college people were like, I remember when I was 18, 22, I'm 40 and I sometimes forget to sign stuff. And they're like, you got 18 to 22-year-olds to sign stuff in a timely fashion. What kind of wizardry is this? I was like, they got to be in a video game. That's why. Yep. So, it's amazing. If you don't have the game, you should go get it. I don't know that I would recommend buying a whole video game system like I did, because it's only on Xbox and PlayStation. Yes. It's not on PC, it's not on Switch, but it's amazing. And I'm gonna play some more of that soon. Okay. That
sounds like a spectacular way to spend your summer. I bring this up because It's going to have bearing on the Carla and Crappy show later this season. I got a job. I'm employed once again.
Crappy got a job.
Yay!
Unlike last season, last fall. I am doing some writing things for Carnegie Mellon University of Pittsburgh. The Carnegie Mellon Tartans last season were 10-1.
Mhm.
And I am suddenly excited about where I was excited about Ivy League football in the past, and yes, Drew has successfully graduated. We're waiting to see where he's going to land. I think he's working on some kind of New York connection that's going to get him into the city. But D3 football, Teal, St. Vincent, Washington and Jefferson. These are teams that Carnegie Mellon is going to be playing this fall, and I am stoked about it. In fact, Ohio State's non-conference schedule is garbage. So I on the 7th, I'm going to be at Carnegie Mellon's home opener, and watch me some D3 football. It's going to be fantastic. This will be the second Carnegie Mellon football game that I've attended since I've lived in Pittsburgh, but I'm going to be a little more invested this time.
Did I go to the first one with you? Was that the time we tailgated in the parking garage?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Just spoiler
Hutch's,
alert for those of you
yeah.
who live in Pittsburgh. You can watch Carnegie Mellon's football just by parking in the parking garage on the top deck.
Mm-hmm.
And just hang out there.
It's nice. It is you're up high. You can see everything. The nice security guys were interested in whether or not we were drinking, and of course we were not.
No, not a bit. Very, very, very sober.
That would be bad. So you can expect to hear Carnegie Mellon football rundowns once the season starts. They get started a couple weeks after everybody else does. But that's going to be a thing. And then I giggled a lot about the allegations of the notice of allegations for Michigan too. Sort of helped soften the blow of Michigan's natty. So I will admit to that bit of Schadenfreude as well.
The bad man can't hurt you anymore, Crappy. The bad man can't hurt you. He also, just for those of you who aren't aware of the allegations, which he is not beating, I believe it's a 4-year show cause penalty.
Yes.
And he's suspended for the first 12 games.
Mm-hmm.
So, in essence, if you would like to hire Jim Harbaugh, college football program of the future,
might want to wait.
You got to wait. You got to wait a little bit. and it's going to be not just the show cause, but you're going to have to wait a whole year.
Yeah.
So unless you're going to get Jimmy to take a $1 salary so that you have hired him, and then let someone else coach that season,
mm-hmm.
and then have him come in as your head coach the year after that, sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He says he still maintains he didn't do anything wrong, and I love it. Go for it, Jimmy. Stand on business.
It is fantastic, and that's just a one taste of the weirdness that happened over the summer, the off season. AJ is actually gonna try to make sure that Carla and I are up to speed on some things. I guess you've prepared a quiz.
I have prepared a quiz.
Okay.
I have run this past various friends.
Yeah.
They have double checked, triple checked my work.
Okay.
Shout out to the Sickos Committee. The Sickos Committee has viewed this and approved this quiz.
Really?
So,
nice. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. As a longstanding member of the Sickos Committee, they will apparently check things for me.
Okay.
But what I have for you is I have 7 coaches and 6 quarterbacks. And we're going to play Where Are They Now?
Jesus God, I'm
in trouble.
This is going to be awful.
This is to help you so that when you show up again, this is week 0. Everybody, there's 7 total football games this weekend at a D1 level. This is warm-up weekend. This is where we figure out where all our channels are. This is to make sure that we can log into YouTube TV or Fubo or your streaming service of choice. This is where we get everything ready. And if you mess up, it's okay. It's just week 0. Get it together for Labor Day weekend. Crappy.
Yes, sir.
Let's start with you.
Okay.
Former Syracuse head coach Dino Babers. Where's Dino Babers? This is spectacular audio.
I
realize this now in this moment.
Riveting. This is podcasting, high quality podcasting.
Podcasting is a visual medium.
I don't know where Dino has landed.
Carla, where is Dino Babers?
He became a coordinator somewhere, didn't he?
He sure did. Where did he go?
I
will provide hints if you would like.
Can you give a conference? Or is that too easy?
This might not help you. He's in the Big 12 now. That might not help you, actually.
Because now I got to remember who's in the Big 12.
Correct.
Oklahoma State?
Not Oklahoma State.
That's what popped in my mind as well. But
second hint, it is the literal opposite of Syracuse, New York. Weather-wise. In the Big 12.
Somewhere hot.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere in Texas?
No, a little further west.
Arizona.
He is now the offensive coordinator at Arizona.
Okay.
Congratulations to Dino Babers leaving Syracuse, New York for Tucson, Arizona. Good for you, bud.
That's a heck of a move.
It's a long distance move as well. Not the weather is completely opposite. And it's on pretty much opposite corners of the country. So that's
quite
awesome.
literally the diagonal furthest away opposite. The only way you would have got further is if you went to Hawaii. Carla.
Yes.
This might be a cheat of a question, but I'm going to ask you anyways. Former New Mexico State head coach Jerry Kill. Where's Jerry Kill?
Jerry Kill is on the coaching staff at Vanderbilt.
He is. He is an analyst at the Vanderbilt University, and I actually didn't put him on the list, so I will just share this fun fact. He brought Diego Pavia with him, the quarterback who was literally body slamming defensive backs against Auburn. Carla, does Vandy play Auburn this year?
They do.
They sure do.
They do.
They play them in November in Jordan-Hare, which means Jerry Kill is on a literal revenge tour against Hugh Freeze for some unknown sin that we will find out later in some book. This is also a reminder, Jerry Kill has a gigantic tattoo of the New Mexico State going and winning a bowl game on his upper arm. It's crazy.
I haven't seen it yet. We'd have to look that up, but I know he's going to get that.
Crappy.
Yes, sir.
Grayson McCall, the legendary quarterback at Coastal Carolina. Where's Grayson McCall?
I want to say NC State.
That is correct. He is the quarterback at NC State. Transferred up there. Tim Beck is the offensive coordinator at NC State. Dave Doran, maybe can get him to 10 wins. A reminder that NC State, for as consistent as they've been, they are in Bo Pelini, Nebraska territory. They just win 8 or 9 games a year. They cannot win 10. No matter if they're at 9-3 at the end of the year, they're losing that bowl game. If they're at 8-4 at the end of the year, they might win that 9th game. They're not winning the 10th game. Carla.
Yes.
The wampinest boy, the biggest boy, KJ Jefferson, the quarterback formerly of Arkansas. Where is KJ Jefferson?
Oh, I saw this. He went to Memphis?
No. He went to a former American Conference school.
SMU?
Not SMU. They are in the Big 12.
Spoiler alert, SMU is not.
Spoiler alert, SMU is in the ACC. Again, this season's going to be weird, y'all. Former AAC school, now in the Big 12.
Now in the Big 12.
That's like all of them.
Well, they might be, let's just say they're the furthest south. Somewhere warm. Mouse ears.
UCF.
He is at UCF. KJ Jefferson in a Gus Malzahn offense. I'm so excited, y'all. They gave Gus Malzahn a bowling ball. This is amazing. I'm so excited for this. By the way, KJ Jefferson, the best dude.
Also, forgot Gus Malzahn was at UCF.
Yes.
Yes.
Auburn hasn't because they're still paying him. That's also true true statement. They are paying they're paying him and Brian Harsin still too. Crappy.
Yes.
The Grinch. Alex Grinch, former defensive coordinator at USC, largely regarded as just a bad time, not a good coach for USC. Where is Alex Grinch? This will make both of you giggle real hard if you don't know where he is.
Defensive coordinator Alex Grinch is did not have a good 2023.
No.
I don't know where he ended up.
Carla.
Is it in Division I?
It sure is.
Okay.
Might be in a it's in a Power 5, Power 4 conference.
Okay.
Might be in a place that loves cheese.
Oh.
Alex Grinch is the co-DC and safeties coach for the University of Wisconsin.
Okay.
Other things I learned when I found his page on there. Crappy. You might remember the current wide receivers coach for Wisconsin, Kenny Guyton.
Yes, I did know that he was on the staff there. I wouldn't have been able to tell you which position, but smooth jazz, getting it done.
Smooth jazz,
there,
Kenny Guyton.
Getting
Also,
it done up there in Madison. Yes. Grad
assistant at the University of Wisconsin, Tough Borland. Of getting absolutely cooked by Devonta Smith in the championship game. Tough Borland. Luke Fickell getting the Ohio State guys some jobs. Love to see it.
Okay. Yeah. Can't complain about that.
Carla.
Yes.
Here's a name from the past. You might not have heard it for a while, but you're about to hear it soon. Former Virginia head coach Bronco Mendenhall. Former BYU head coach Bronco Mendenhall.
Where's Boise State head coach?
Yep.
Bronco Mendenhall. He's not a head coach. He's a coordinator.
He is a head coach.
He's a head coach.
Is he a head coach?
Did he go to Syracuse to replace Dino?
He did not. That was now I'm blanking on that guy's name. He was at Georgia. He was a crazy recruiter for them.
Oh, that's right. Where did Bronco go?
Bronco went west. I'll give you that. He is west of Texas.
All right.
So cut the country in by 2/3 there. Mountain West team.
Back in the Mountain West. That's fun.
Yeah. It's going to be a bad time for him when he's there, but
it's not Boise and it's not Wyoming. Utah State?
It is not Utah State. Crappy.
Are we going to get to see his coaching on Saturday?
Yes. Yes, we will.
Is he a Lobo?
He sure is. He is the head coach of your New Mexico Lobos. By the way, Home Field Apparel just dropped the New Mexico collection. It is flames.
Okay.
They put turquoise logos out. It's amazing. He is the head coach at New Mexico. His first game is just spoiler alert for everybody. FCS number 2 Montana State. They're an 8-point. New Mexico is an 8-point underdog at home. Whoops. Whoopsie doodle. Why'd you do that? Crappy.
Yes.
Former UCF quarterback Dylan Gabriel. He also of Oklahoma. Where's Dylan Gabriel?
I will get a good look at Dylan Gabriel on my birthday when Ohio State visits Oregon.
Great work. Tremendous work. Crappy knows where Dylan Gabriel is.
Yes, I do. Yeah. Oh boy.
That, by the way, Ohio State, just so you know, everybody, just go ahead right now. It is currently August 20th as we're recording this. Go ahead and write in. I'm not doing anything on October 12th. I'm watching football because the October 12th calendar is absolutely stacked. We'll get there in a moment. Carla.
Yes.
Carla, where's Brian Ferentz? He of Iowa offensive coordinator fame. Where is Brian Ferentz?
He went to another Big Ten team, didn't he?
He sure did.
Selling cars in Des Moines.
No.
No?
No, he went to did he go to Minnesota?
No, but it starts with an M.
Michigan State.
Not Michigan State. They're really good in September. Not so good the rest of the year.
Go ahead.
Maryland?
Crap. It is Maryland.
Okay.
Oh, that's
A
right.
reminder. Sorry, I did say that Maryland was in the Big Ten and not the ACC where they culturally belong. They are in the Big Ten. He is a senior offensive assistant at Maryland. This is a reminder that Brian Ferentz is actually a very, very good offensive line coach. He's just terrible at calling plays.
Yeah.
So I would imagine that he's doing a lot of line stuff at Maryland.
Sounds good.
Crappy.
Mhm.
Another name we haven't heard from in a while, and a former foe of yours, I believe, Ken Niumatalolo, the former head coach at Navy.
Mm-hmm.
Where's Ken Niumatalolo?
My thoughts exactly. I have no idea.
It's one of our favorite cliches. We have no
I
idea.
have no idea.
No.
I have BYU.
Close. You're
Really?
thinking West Coast, which is correct. You need to go
Okay.
further west
I need to go
than
further west.
BYU. Mountain West School.
Ah, crap. I don't know. Carla,
He is the
you got to guess, Carla?
Mm-mm.
Carla does not have a guess. He is the head coach at San Jose State.
Nice.
Hmm.
Okay.
He replaced Brent Brennan, who went to Arizona to replace Jed Fish, who went to Washington, who replaced Kalen DeBoer, who went to Alabama, who replaced Nick Saban, who retired. So
Who's now the czar of college football.
The czar of college football, and that's fine. Nick Saban could do that. Ken Niumatalolo also has said he is not running the option, which hurts my soul in a very deep way because I would love to see San Jose State absolutely cook people with the option in the Mountain West.
That'd be fantastic.
He says he's not going to run the option,
Okay.
which was his whole thing because there were a lot of people who wanted to hire him,
Mhm.
but they were terrified. The same thing is apparently happening to I'm blanking on his name, Jeff Monken at Army. Anytime his name comes up for a job, everybody goes, "I don't want to run the option." So he says he's not going to run the option. So we'll see what happens there. Carla, former Incarnate Word quarterback, then Wazoo quarterback Cam Ward. No longer at Wazoo. Where did Cam Ward go?
Oh, I knew this.
I just read this.
See, I'm getting everybody ready for the season so that when you go, look at that.
He didn't go to Miami. No, he's not. He didn't go to Miami, did he?
I think
No.
He did go to Miami.
I think
He did go to Miami. Yes.
I think he did. Yes.
Good pull. So if he went to Miami and last year's starting quarterback was Tyler Van Dyke, Tyler Van Dyke's not at Miami anymore. Crappy, where'd Tyler Van Dyke go?
Oh,
I did that one on purpose.
you certainly did. Wow.
I might know this one too.
We've talked about this school already here.
Go ahead.
Oh, never mind. I was going to say Louisville. That's not true.
It's a red team.
It's a red team.
I mean, we have talked about a number of red teams. Now that I'm looking at the list, I'm like, ooh, red, dang. Yeah,
Not
they're all
helpful.
red. Not really helpful there.
Did he go to Wisconsin?
He sure did. He is the new starting quarterback at Wisconsin, where he wowed reporters by completing 5 passes in a row during practice. I'm not joking about that. That's a very real statement that happened.
Well, it is Wisconsin.
It is Wisconsin. Where are we at now? I believe we're at Carla. DJ Uyunglele, formerly of Clemson and then Ohio State. Where did DJ go?
DJU is on the other side of the ACC rivalry now at Florida State.
He is at Florida State, which means, by the way, Florida State Clemson is a DJU rivalry.
Rivalry.
It's Wibblewee. The Wibblewee has increased. So there's DJ Ungalele. All right. Second to last question.
Okay.
Dana Holgerson, formerly at Houston.
Wow.
Where did Dana go? This one's a super fun one because there's a secondary bonus question. Actually, a second fact. I won't.
Second fact. Is the coordinator or head coach?
He's an analyst.
He's an analyst.
And it won't make sense until I tell you what happened.
Wow.
That's what Dana sounds like whenever he thinks about stuff that way. Wow.
Wow. I don't know. I haven't thought about Dana since at least halfway through last season, or probably even longer.
Carla, where did Dana go?
Isn't it something weird like Arizona State?
No, but in the same conference.
Hmm.
Other side of the skillet.
Oklahoma State?
No. You're thinking of the state. I'm thinking of the rivalry, the skillet game. That would be TCU. He is an analyst at TCU, and not just any analyst. He is a defensive analyst.
Not what I would have guessed.
Because Sonny Dykes said, I want him to help the defense pick apart offenses. So you have him as the offensive brain in the room telling them what the offense is thinking when they're going through film.
Okay.
Which is actually a clever idea. But he also did the same thing on offense with Todd Graham. So he hired Todd Graham as an offensive assistant. Todd Graham, formerly of the University of Hawaii in Arizona State, but also is got fired so hard by Hawaii that he got brought in front of the state Senate in Hawaii because of crimes. So Todd Graham's not in Hawaii anymore. He is in Dallas. I have a bonus question that will make Carla happy and Crappy mad. Crappy, where'd Julian Fleming go?
He went to Penn State.
He sure did.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
I actually had a bonus question on here, which is where's Northwestern playing home games? We've already talked about their new stadium. So that is the where are they now game. If you were playing along at home, I hope you did well. Trying to get you ready for the season. The coaching carousel and the transfer portal means that every year now, everything's been scrambled. And I didn't even get into the fact that Ohio State has a effectively completely new backfield of transfers, and that every single team now loses players, no matter how good you are. Carla and I actually talked about this. I was in Nashville a couple weeks ago, and we talked about the fact that, like, previously when a coach would leave, like a Saban level coach would leave, you would go, oh yeah, well, I mean, he's leaving the cupboard full, and the next coach comes in, he can go win with Nick's guys. No, no. Caleb Downs, the 5-star safety that everybody was like, after 1 year, this dude could go to the league. Sure. Hey, Crappy, where's he now?
He will be a safety in Ohio State's defensive backfield.
Correct. So these are the sorts of things that will now happen where a program, if a coach leaves, can instantly fall apart, which is kind of terrifying. And it happens to literally everybody at the toppest of top levels, all the way at the Alabama level. It can happen to them. So if it can happen to Alabama, it can absolutely happen to you. Random G5 school. Love you so much. So that's been the Where Are They Now game. Let's preview some games.
Do you want to preview? We'll preview some games. We mentioned that before, one of them before, but we have I think 7 games. You said on Saturday, starting with our annual trip to Dublin, Ireland, where number 10 Florida State University will be playing Georgia Tech. Florida State is favored by 11.5 points. The AJ Fun Index is 55.5. A number that you will find to be fairly consistent among the games that have odds betting information. Carla, what do you think about this one?
This is actually more intriguing, and this is by far the signature game on the weekend. Week 0 this year is not spectacular. Like, we've had week 0s that have been like really intriguing with some like CUSA games, some Sun Belt games, that kind of stuff. Like this year, ain't it? So this really is the warm-up week, but this is a pretty good game because, like, Georgia Tech last year started putting a few pieces together, and like they could be a middle of the pack ACC team this year, which in an ACC that we don't know a whole lot about could actually be like, they could meddle around in some stuff here. Like, we really don't know. I mean, that would be a solid improvement over what we've seen from Georgia Tech in years past. They've got lots of returning offensive starters. Defense was a problem last year. But this is also on, on the Knowles side, like as mentioned, this is the first time we're going to see DJU in the Scarlet and Gold.
Right.
And as we saw at the end of last year, that Knowles offense without Jordan Travis ain't it, right? So
It's not
what's
good.
DJU inheriting here? Like, is he going to be the fix to like keep that thing going? I think Florida State wins this football game, but if they're not paying attention,
Mhm.
this game could be a lot closer than it really should be. And we're going to find out a lot about who Florida State is in this game. But
Okay.
Knowles win.
Okay. Okay. AJ, what do you think?
Um, I think the big thing here is how much Florida State lost.
Mhm.
Keon Coleman is now a national treasure in Buffalo for the Bills.
Right.
Jared Verse is now in the NFL. Jordan Travis, not there anymore. All of these big name players that you remember from last year's Florida State team, you're like, oh, this team's going to the playoff. They're going to win the national championship. Gone.
Mhm.
So you got to replace everybody. They bring in DJU. They've got a couple other transfers. Mike Norvell has done actually a pretty good job of keeping and building a roster there,
Mhm.
but they're replacing a lot. So you're going to see a lot of people who haven't played together before. And so it might be a much sloppier look than before. But there's one key player that I want you all to pay attention to.
Okay.
And that is Georgia Tech punter David Shanahan. Why? Because David Shanahan is from Castle, Ireland, County Kerry, Ireland. He is an Irish punter and coming home to play in Aviva Stadium in Dublin. I'm so excited for him, and
It's cool.
he's going to kick some big footballs. So honestly, if Georgia Tech punts on their first drive,
Mhm.
that cheer is going to be real loud because the boy came home.
Yes.
So I expect Florida State to go out and win this game. But I would love to see Georgia Tech keep this close
Mhm.
and get in because this is a week 0, week 1 thing. This is the thing about like the AJ Fund Index being 55.5. Like no one knows anything right now.
No.
Like that Florida State team is not the same team in any way, shape, or form. So it's hard to say that this is definitely going to be a thing.
Mhm.
But hopefully we see a good game. Also, it's at noon on ESPN. So we're gonna have football on Saturday. That's crazy.
Yes, football on Saturday.
Woohoo.
Tech had a respectable season last year. As Carla touched on, the ranked wins against ranked opponents North Carolina and Miami on the way to a bowl win. Um, Florida State, it's almost not fair to compare this team to last year for the reasons that AJ said. Their bowl game against Georgia was a disaster. I want to say 63-3.
It
And
was
that was
it was
and
it
that was
was
after,
comical.
yeah, and that was after everybody left. So many players opted out and hit the portal that it's just so if Mike Norvell has done a nice job of filling in those holes, this should be a Florida State win. I think it's going to be a tight game though. And as Carla said, if Florida State is for whatever reason not paying attention or is disinterested for whatever reason, they could find themselves with a game that they did not expect on their hands. So I'm picking Florida State, but I think this has potential to be a pretty good game. At 2:30 p.m. on ESPN2, McNeese at Tarleton State. I had to look up where Tarleton State was, and it's in Texas someplace. There's no
Mhm.
line. There's no line on this game.
Yep.
AJ, what do you think?
I don't know.
Okay.
Honestly, this is where McNeese is. This is a good chance. This is the fun part of week 0
Mhm.
is because there's only 7 games on. You get a bunch of games, and we're going to talk about one later on. That gets a ton of shine
Mhm.
because it's week 0,
Yeah.
right? So you have a McNeese and Tarleton on ESPN2. McNeese and Tarleton will not be on ESPN2 in about a week,
No.
right? It'll be on ESPN Plus.
Yes.
So it's nice to see some of these teams get this early shine. There's a reason why, the FCS teams try to put games up front in week 0 because they know they can get some TV time on main linear TV. So McNeese and Tarleton, this should be fun. This is a 1:30 local kickoff. Hey, it's more football that's on TV. And if the FSU Georgia Tech game is getting weird or it's kind of boring, go with McNeese and Tarleton. It's on at the same time.
Always worth a look. Carla, what do you think about McNeese and Tarleton?
So in my brief amount of research to figure out who the heck these two teams even were, I looked up some information from the Tarleton State University Athletics Department.
Okay.
This is the first ever nationally televised game for Tarleton State.
Nice.
They've called for a purple out.
Okay.
I'm
right.
sold. Texans win.
Yes, Tarleton State is purple, and it's a good purple too.
Okay. That's fine with me. Not having anything else to base my decision on. I wrote down go with the home team, especially if there's a purple out. Don't sleep on Tarleton when on a purple out, for crying out loud, people. 4 p.m. FS1. This is the game that we referenced earlier. FCS number 2 Montana State at New Mexico. Montana State, the current line is 11 points. The AJ Fun Index is, again, mid-50s, 54.5 points. Carla, what do you think?
Now that I know that Bronco Mendenhall is there,
Uh-huh.
sorry, Bronco. You always root for the FCS team in these matchups. Let's go Bobcats.
AJ.
I need to ask all of you FBS teams. When you're like trying to schedule in some like extra, you're out of conference games, and you're trying to fill those slots. We're going to talk about some more of these next week. Why would you ever schedule a Dakota or a Montana? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? There's no reason for you to do this. You didn't have to do this. You're paying them to come kick your ass. Why did you do this? It's a bad time for you, New Mexico. You have a brand new head coach, and they're about to get steamrolled by an actually good FCS school. I'm really sorry, New Mexico. Your home opener with your brand new head coach that you're paying a not small amount of money to, you're going to lose to Montana State. Scratching cats.
Yeah. The Bobcats, according to my notes, are looking to build on an 8-4 season from a year ago. The Lobos have a cool nickname. Look for Montana State to win this one on the road. 7 p.m. ESPN in lovely Montgomery, Alabama, North Alabama versus Southeast Missouri. Again, there is no line on this game. Carla, what do you think?
I'm solely going with SEMO just because I like saying SEMO. SEMO.
SEMO. Okay, cool. That makes sense to me. AJ?
SEMO's fun to say,
Mhm.
but it's very rare that we get to pick directional Alabama. I take that back.
It's
There's
true.
South Alabama because they've come up. Now we've now picked a directional Alabama
Mhm.
more recently. But like North Alabama, we don't ever get to pick North Alabama. So I'm gonna pick North Alabama. It's
Okay.
it's a directional Alabama. We're gonna do it.
This is listed as a neutral site game, so I don't know where North Alabama plays their games usually, but so it's not technically correct to refer to them as the home team. I'm a cat guy, as you guys are aware, with Charlie walking past here. For those of you who are watching, you got to see him earlier. So let's go with the North Alabama Lions. That's where I'm sticking to this game. 7:30 p.m. on ABC. Florida A&M University versus Norfolk State. This is the MEAC SWAC Challenge in Atlanta. There is no line on this game, but damn it, they better show the halftime show. That's all I'm saying.
Yes.
AJ, what do you think?
So this is actually one of the very cool things that ESPN has been doing the past few years, which is they put the MEAC SWAC Challenge on ABC in week 0. So every year there's been an HBCU game, HBCU on HBCU game on national television, which is super cool. FAMU, the Marching 100, going to Norfolk State, behold the green and gold. This is a very, very interesting matchup. Norfolk State is not very good, and FAMU went to the FCS playoffs last year, so I expect FAMU to come out and win here. FAMU actually did lose their head coach. He is now an analyst. I think he's the special teams coach at South Carolina, if I recall.
Okay.
But I think the big thing here is, one, definitely put your eyeballs on this game. This game needs the ratings so that we can have more of this on television.
Absolutely.
I will say, anytime that ESPN shows an HBCU game, they will put the game on. They will put the halftime show sort of on TV. If you would actually like to watch the halftime shows, go to ESPN.com and go to like watch ESPN, and the actual halftime show in full will be on there.
Good tip.
Your mileage may vary on how they've mic'd the field,
Mm-hmm.
but you will get the full show. And in a lot of cases, you get the all 22 view. So you get the full view of the field. So if you want to watch the bands, which I do, this is going to be great. FAMU, Norfolk State, two great HBCUs. Put your eyeballs on this game, 7:30 p.m.
Okay. Carla, what do you think?
Yep, agreed. As a former marching band alum, this game is less about the game and more about the halftime show. Don't miss the halftime show at all. Don't miss it. I promise you. That being said, FAMU won the Celebration Bowl last year. So give me the Rattlers in this game. But yeah, don't miss halftime.
My pick for this game, Florida A&M's Marching 100 in a narrow win over Norfolk State's Spartan Legion marching band. Watch the halftime show, but do watch this game. This actually could be fun. FAMU's a good team at that level, and that'll be a fun one to take in. 8 p.m. on the Network of Champions, the CBSSN. My pronunciation skills are clearly in preseason form. We have SMU at Nevada. SMU is favored by 27 points with an AJ Fun Index. Again, mid-50s, 56.5. Carla, what do you think?
This is a weird thing to say, but welcome to the year of our Lord 2024. SMU could actually be in the mix in the ACC this year.
Yes. Yes.
I think AJ's head just exploded when I said that, but it's true. SMU, like, again, this is an ACC that we know nothing about this year, right? I mean, we really have no clue what the ACC looks like, and SMU is putting together a really good squad. And so, like, yeah, I mean, they're obviously a big favorite. I think they're going to win big. This is a Nevada team that is restarting yet again. They've restarted a couple of the past seasons. They're doing it again. So yeah, give me the to borrow a phrase from my friend Chris Childers. Let's go show ponies. SMU.
Show ponies. AJ, what do you think?
One, yes, it is completely insane to say that SMU is going to be in the mix in the ACC. Sure. For like various reasons. One, Dallas has nothing to do with the Atlantic Ocean, but sure. Also, Carl and I went to dinner, but on one of the TVs was the ACC network, and they were doing their like tour of the country. And that day was when they were at SMU. And so they're like interviewing the players, they're doing practice, they're talking to the coaches and stuff. And I'm like, why is SMU on the ACC? Oh, right. Right. They are there. This was honestly, SMU was added to the ACC to make Stanford and Cal feel better. So they knew they wouldn't have to go all the way across the country. Although we'll get to Cal's travel schedule next week. It's insane. And by the way, they don't get any miles and they don't get any Marriott points. It's terrible. But SMU should win this going away. They're very, very good. This is their first game as an ACC member. Again, I'm just saying it out loud so I remember. And Nevada's terrible. So good job, SMU. Get go out, play Nevada. This is they did a home and home, and good for USMU when they were in the AAC and Nevada was in the Mountain West, so you could do that. But now you're playing a Big 12 team. Whoops. Yeah, this should be brutal. But hey, watch SMU do cool stuff.
I'm going to stick with you guys. SMU actually has they're doing good things. I have no idea if they're going to win by 27 points. I think that's a possibility. It's college football, folks. ACC, big time college football. Look at that. SMU at Nevada. Show ponies are going to win this one. And finally, AJ.
Real quick, hold on.
Yeah.
By the way, we said it's weird that they're in the mix. Like the ACC Coastal didn't exist. Like that at no point could like this conference just eat itself and like, oh, magically like the random number generator just says SMU, you're in the title game this year. Like, let's calm down about that one. The Coastal's in the walls, y'all.
Let's AJ, what is Team One Sports app?
I'm glad you asked.
Yes.
So you go to, if you are a Hawaii football watcher like myself,
Mhm.
you discover that half of Hawaii season is only available via Spectrum pay-per-view
Mhm.
on the island. And you have to pay $300 a year to watch Hawaii football if you live in Hawaii. But if you're not in Hawaii and you're on the
Mhm.
mainland, you can watch for free on the Team One Sports app, which is in the iOS and Android app stores. And if you're the type of person who likes to watch things on your computer and not on your phone,
Mhm.
you can share the link to yourself and you can just watch on your computer. You do have to give the site location access because it does check to see if you are on the island or not.
Yeah. Okay.
And you can't just type in a zip code. So you can watch the game there. You get the local Spectrum broadcast, which, by the way, is tremendous.
Okay.
Everybody's wearing Hawaiian shirts. This is where Robert Kakala spent
Oh,
all of his time, but it is an incredibly local broadcast. Like
mhm.
Spectrum local
Yeah.
sports
Right.
on the island runs it, not ESPN, not Fox. It's not backed by any of them.
Mhm.
So it's got that like super goofy kind of hometown vibe. Also, all of the commercials are local commercials. So you will see a guy
Perfect.
playing a ukulele trying to sell you a Honda. It's a thing that happens. I'm not kidding. It's a delight. And they're bringing Delaware State and HBCU to the island to
Mhm.
play at Terrence T.C. Ching Sports Complex. Delaware State, not a terribly good HBCU. They're also not in the FCS. They're actually a D2 school.
Mhm.
So Delaware State, they're going to come to the island. They're going to get a lovely vacation. And I hope Hawaii wins by 40. So go Bows.
Ironically, Bows are favored by 39 points. So
And I hope they win by 40.
that
I
is a
didn't put money on the
possibility.
game. I'm just hoping they cover because great
That is
teams
a
cover.
possibility. Carla, do you have a pick for this game?
Yeah, so like I know I just said like a couple games ago, like you always root for the FCS or the D2 team and these
Uh-huh.
kinds of things, but like it's hard not to root for the beloved Bows.
Yeah.
So you gotta root for the Bows here. But also, did y'all hear Delaware State missed their flight today to get to Hawaii?
No.
Whoops.
There was there's apparently a bus issue and they didn't get to the airport in time. They missed their flight. Now,
Huh.
kudos to the AD who
Mhm.
had the foresight to build an extra day into the travel, knowing that flights are really weird right now.
Good
Um,
thinking.
and so good thinking on his part. They got rebooked. They're scheduled to make it to Hawaii in plenty of time for the game, but like this game is not off to a great start. Bows win by 40.
Okay. Okay.
Was it
I,
was it Duquesne? No, it was Robert Morris. It was our beloved Colonials who
mm,
went to a game and brought the wrong jerseys
Yes.
last year. It was that's right. It was Robert Morris last year. I thought it
oh
was
my.
Duquesne and they went all the way to the island with the wrong jerseys. No, it was Robert Morris.
No, it was
That
Bobby
was
Mo.
Robert. That was Bobby. Okay.
Yep.
If
Um,
Bobby Moe ever gets the call to play Hawaii in Hawaii, I feel like I am required by law to go as a Colonial. I don't have my diploma up on the wall, but probably should have done.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Do not feel bad for Delaware State. They're getting this is like a bowl game in late August. Going to Hawaii to play football. What possibly could go wrong with that besides travel problems? Hawaii wins big. Delaware State has a good time, and everything is hunky dory there.
By the way,
Uh,
this is a proper nightcap.
It
This
mhm,
kicks
is.
off at midnight Eastern.
mhm, mhm.
Get up, get ready.
Ho-
We're going. We're
Hawaii
doing
test week
this.
0. Let's go.
Oh boy.
Yes.
I am tired already. The traditions of sports podcasting require that we make prognostications, and that's how we will wrap up today's show. This is going to take a little time because we don't have just a top four, a final four to pick. We have a final 12. Um,
Because
and
everything is weird.
because everything is weird. This is how it's going to be for the foreseeable future. The format, to remind you guys, four highest rated conference champs are seeded 1 through 4, and they get a first round bye. The fifth highest ranked conference champion, and then the seven highest ranked non-conference champions fill out the rest of the bracket. So, you got to, I think in almost every scenario, you got to think that the Power Four conferences are going to take those first four seeds. Then we get a G5 conference champion in there, and then we see what happens with the rest of the group. Um, Carla, do you want to take a stab at this to start?
I certainly can. I
Okay.
went through this a couple of different times and I still
Mhm.
don't love the way that this ended up. And you'll understand why I say that here in just a
Okay.
minute. But okay, so my top four conference champions, because
Mhm.
that would be kind of the old Final Four, which are not my Final Four, by the way.
Right.
SEC champ, Georgia. So much returning talent. And they
Mhm.
went ahead and, talk about portal. They picked up Trevor Etienne from Florida,
Yeah.
switching sides of that rivalry.
Yeah.
So that rivalry got even better this year. So Georgia wins the SEC. I'm gonna make some enemies here,
Hmm.
but hang on.
Okay.
Okay.
Hanging.
Big Big Ten champ,
Yeah.
Oregon.
Okay.
I like
It's not a bad pick.
I like Oregon's schedule.
Mhm.
Their schedule is paced really, really well. Their big games are spaced out. And I think that might be the difference in a conference where the schedule is absolutely brutal for
Mhm.
everybody. And having some extra space between games that puts the Ducks an inch above your Bucks, which we'll get there.
Okay.
ACC shoulder shrug. I'm gonna go with the
Eh?
Noles. I'm gonna go with the Noles just
Okay.
because, but I'm not sold on that by any stretch, but we'll go with Florida State. Big 12, I'm taking Utah. They're
Mhm.
the team that gave the Pac-12 all kinds of trouble the last 2 years, might actually, win the whole dang thing in their new
Mhm.
conference because I don't know who plays, like there's not a team that matches up well against them right now. So I'm gonna take the Utes
Okay.
out of the Big 12. So those are my the top four seeds.
Mhm.
Um in that order too, I think. Let me check. Yeah, one Georgia, two Oregon, three Utah, four Florida State is the
Okay.
order that I had them in.
Okay.
Okay, so your group of five representative.
Mhm.
Interestingly enough, for the first time in a long time, most of the preseason mags don't have a group of five representative in the top 25 this year, which is interesting. It's been a while since we've had that. So if you're looking at the group of five, I'm looking at Appy State in the Sun Belt, Liberty probably in CUSA, unfortunately. Memphis probably from the American, Toledo probably from the MAC.
Mhm.
Out of those four teams, give me Appy State. What the
Okay.
heck? It
Okay.
feels appropriate to have Appy State, the team that like made the big impression how many years ago now, beating Michigan in the Big House. It feels appropriate to have them in the playoff in this first 12-year span. So
Mhm.
give me Appy State.
Okay.
At large bids. Ohio State would likely have been the Big Ten winner without Oregon. They're going to be
Mhm.
really good this year.
Mhm.
Penn State should still be really fun on offense.
Yes.
Might be the strongest defense to return in quite some time too. So pay attention to that. They have a deep secondary, but that secondary also got torched by Ole Miss in the Peach Bowl. So,
Yeah.
Texas,
Mhm.
legit contender even in the SEC. Quinn Ewers is back. Defense has a lot of talent, although they don't have a lot of starters returning. So like AJ and I talked about this a couple weeks ago.
Mhm.
Like Ohio State, Penn State, Texas kind of feel like almost locks into the playoff. And then after
Mhm.
that, it's kind of like a who the heck knows?
Right.
Because like, is Alabama going to be good? They're no longer a shoo-in without Saban.
Mhm.
Jalen Milroe's coming back, but how does he fit into the Kalen DeBoer offense?
Yeah.
No idea, right? But I put them in just because I didn't know who else. So these are kind of random picks, and they're SEC heavy, and I'm not crazy about that. So Alabama, Notre Dame, maybe
Mhm.
could be good. They got Riley Leonard from Duke, but not a lot else coming back on offense. So who knows? Um, I like Missouri. Nobody's talking about Missouri, and I know they lost Cody Schrader, but Brady Cook and all of his receivers are back.
I
And
don't
that
like
was a
Missouri.
team that was real good last year.
Mhm.
So I like Missouri's kind of a sleeper pick.
Okay.
And then Ole Miss because they're just Ole Miss.
Mhm.
I could also see those are my top 12 or those are my 12.
Mhm.
I could also see USC and Michigan sneaking in there, but like
Okay.
who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? The way it all shakes out, how do you want me to explain this? So like I have the 8-9 matchup is Ole Miss Mizzou.
Mhm.
And I have Mizzou winning that game. The 5-12 matchup is Ohio State Appy State, and I take
Okay.
Ohio State in that game.
Mhm.
6-11 was Texas Notre Dame. Give me Texas. And this is why I say I hate my life because I have a 7-10 Penn State Alabama matchup in Beaver Stadium. I hate that
Mm.
matchup with
Mm.
every ounce and fiber of my being. I take my nits because that's who I should pick. But
Yes.
don't that game does
It's a
not
tough
make
one.
me feel good. And it doesn't matter how I shuffled the teams, I didn't like my game. So that we're gonna go with that. And then I had number 1 Georgia over number 9 Mizzou, number 5 Ohio State over Florida State at
Okay.
number 4.
Okay.
I have Texas over Utah. That's 6 over 3, and then Oregon over my Knits 2-7. The final 4 would be semifinals would be Georgia over Ohio State, Oregon over Texas, and I'll take the Georgia Bulldogs as your national champion over the Oregon Ducks, in which, if that game happens, would be a banger of a game. But Georgia, 2024 national champions.
Okay. Okay. AJ, what did you get worked out?
So I have a lot of the same things that Carla has, and I was actually just making a bunch of changes to them. And then as Carla was like walking through the entire playoff, I forgot that we did that part. So I'm doing that right now because I don't do my homework on time. And
I'm docking you 10 points.
It's oh God, the professor just came out.
Yeah, there it was.
You all heard that. I think I'm in the same boat with Carla. It's Big Ten SEC is 1-2. Whoever those two champions are, that's going to be your 1-2. I also have Georgia as the SEC champion at number 1.
Yeah.
I have the flip of Carla. I have Ohio State, and it really just comes down to who wins the Ohio State Oregon game.
Yep.
Because as far as I'm concerned, as like brutal as the Big Ten schedule is, helmet wise, it's Oregon and Ohio State, Michigan and Penn State, and a whole lot of mess after that.
Who the heck knows? Yep.
Right. So in my opinion, there's not a ton. Like, this is the sort of, but here's the thing. This is the fun part of the 12-team playoff, is that we're gonna have to go with, like, I don't know, man, like 11, I don't know, put in Iowa or somebody like that. Like,
right.
Iowa's going to mess around. They're going to win. They're going to go 10-2, doing the same thing that Iowa always does. And there they are in the 11th spot. Like, that's the sort of stuff that's probably going to happen at some point here. I think what I have found is that if I put, let's see. I also have 3. I have Utah as well. And I when you said that, Carl, I thought about it for a moment, and you actually made me change the team. And I kicked Alabama out of the 11 spot because I had Alabama there, and I was like, it just felt like this is where Alabama's going to end up. It's just Alabama. This is where they end up. Alabama gets in the playoff. LOL. But after I thought about it for a little bit, I realized there is one team that can match up with them, and I'll get to them in a moment. And finally, 4 with the ACC champion, I have Clemson. As boring as this sounds, because Dabo doesn't hit the transfer portal, there are 4 teams that didn't hit the transfer portal. The 3 service academies who are not allowed to, and Clemson. So this is the sort of thing that it's an interesting thing. If Clemson does well, everybody's going to go, look at Dabo. Dabo need no transfer portal. He coaching them up. But if they lose, or they're not off to the start that people think they are, they will start blaming the portal as like the reason why, like, everybody else is using the portal. Why aren't we using the portal? That sort of thing. And Dabo will get called into question, even if they're still winning games. So I still have Clemson at 4. I still think because right now, Florida State turning over everybody. It's that, again, it comes down to Clemson versus Florida State. That is another head-to-head matchup that will just decide some stuff for us here. So there's my top 4. I'm just going to call these out in order, just in ranking order. Number 5, I have Oregon, because they one of those teams will lose, and they are going in my 5 spot.
Right.
So I have Oregon there. And number 6, I have Texas, because again, Quinn Ewers, great starting offense. They were in the playoff last year. They didn't lose as much as a lot of people think they could, to the portal or to the draft. So they're right back. At number 7, I have Ole Miss, because Ole Miss is not tied to the SEC West anymore, because the SEC got rid of their divisions. Because again, this is 2024. It's a completely new season for basically everything. So because they're not tied to the SEC West, and they have to go through LSU and Alabama to get to Atlanta for the SEC championship game, there's a potential, and their schedule sets them up well for them to play their way over there without having to go through a ton. I do believe they play Georgia, but still. And number 8, I have Missouri, because Carla, I'm with you. A lot of people not talking about Missouri, but Missouri was really, really good last year. And spoiler, they're the one team in the last 2 years that has put the fear of God into Georgia. The only ones.
True.
They've scared
That
Georgia
is true.
2 years in a row
Mhm.
in Missouri and between the hedges. They are the only team to properly give Georgia fits. And the only other team that actually beat Georgia was Alabama. And that's just because they're Alabama and it was Nick Saban and that level of talent. But Missouri scared them deeply. Um, Eli Drinkwitz is doing wizard stuff up there. So good for Missouri. I see them at number 8. At number 9, I have Florida State. They have too much talent. Their coaching is too good right now. So that's where I have Florida State. At number 10, I have Penn State. Again, the talent level of the Big Ten is going to put them up there. And then at 11, I have the team that I think could give Utah some fits. And that's the Power Cats at Kansas State.
Yes.
The only other
Ah.
team who can get into a proper rock fight with Utah
Yeah,
and
it's true.
come out on top.
Mhm.
Everybody else is going to try and play a little bit more offense, a little bit more in the air. But there's Kansas State to beat you with a rock. I trust in Colin Klein's offense. It's really what it comes down to. And at number 12, I have our G5 the G5 team, which this year, sadly, is Liberty. Mostly because they play in Conference USA and they are better than everybody in Conference USA. They're spending more money, they have more capabilities, they have better facilities, and they're just going to go undefeated in the Conference USA. I hope they don't, and I hope that I'm there to see it. But with Liberty, there's not much that is going to stop them other than themselves. And an undefeated G5 team will get the G5 spot. I think App State is going to trip on someone in the Sun Belt. And it would come down to, does App State tripping over somebody in the Sun Belt, which, by the way, App State, I believe, plays NC State this year. As Mac Brown said, there's someone else's problem now. They play NC State. If they get NC State and they trip over a good Sun Belt team, maybe they get in over a 13-0 Liberty team who didn't play anybody. And this is what brings me to Notre Dame. Notre Dame is not in my top 12. And Notre Dame, if they play that independent game all they'd like to, that little independent game means they will never, ever get a first-round bye. You have to be a conference champion to get a first-round bye, which means even if Notre Dame is undefeated, the best they can do is the 5 spot. So Notre Dame, if you look at their schedule this year, they play, at this point right now, 2 ranked teams. That's it. They have nobody on their schedule either. So they could be a 13-0 type of team, or if they lose to anybody, it's not going to look good. And so I don't have Notre Dame in my final. I think they lose to at least one team that is not ranked, and it's going to look bad on their schedule. So that takes me to my first round bye: 1, 2, 3, 4, Georgia, Ohio State, Utah, Clemson. I have number 5 Oregon playing number 12 Liberty. Where have we seen this game before? Oh, it was about 8 months ago, and Liberty is just now coming back to a solid form. So real sorry about that. You could turn into mush again. Whoops. So that has then Georgia playing Oregon in the quarterfinals, semifinals, quarterfinals. It's quarterfinals. I have Kansas State at Texas. Whoops. Oh, hey, Texas fans, do you feel that shiver? Because I did. That's never been a good time for you. I think you win this time. It's never been a good time for you. In my 7-10 game, that means I have Penn State and Ole Miss, or as I'm referring to this, the Spider-Man pointing game, because these are both teams who have been the number 3 team in their conference for the last 5 years. That will never get to that has not gotten to sniff the playoffs because they are always behind 2 teams ahead of them. And so because of that, Penn State going to the Grove could be very fun.
Yeah.
Maybe that order gets flipped around and Ole Miss comes to Penn State, but it's a Spider-Man pointing game. They're 2 of the same teams. And my 8-9 game is Missouri, Florida State, which would be an absolute heck of a game. And I've got Missouri winning that game. I've got Penn State upsetting Ole Miss.
Revenge for last year's Peach Bowl.
Revenge for last year's Peach Bowl. I'm sorry, that means you get Clemson. I believe the 4 team plays the 7-10 game. Do I have that right? I think I do. Yeah. And then 3 plays.
The 4 team plays the 5-12 game. 7-10 game plays number 2.
Man, I got this all goofed up. That means I gotta mess this. This is live editing. No, doesn't the one team plays 5-12.
No,
Right?
the one team plays 8-9. Come on, get your brackets right.
Okay. So I got Georgia playing Missouri. Sorry, Missouri, you gotta play Georgia. Whoops.
Oh, jeez.
And then the two team plays, so that's Ohio State getting Oregon
Again.
again. Oh no. I would not like to watch that game twice this year. That sounds
Well,
terrible.
you might
Oh
be able to
no.
watch. I'd be able to watch it 3 times.
That's true.
Oh, the Big Ten title game because there's no divisions
Yeah,
there
there's no
either. Whoops,
divisions.
you know what? Yes. Yes, I would like that. I would like to
Okay.
see that game 3 times.
Okay.
And then the 6-11. Who plays the 6-11, Carla? Is that the 3 team?
The 3 team. Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, so that means I got Utah playing Texas. Oh, rock fight versus a rocket factory. Amazing. And then the 4 team plays the 7-10 game, which means Clemson plays Penn State.
No,
Um,
no. The 4 team plays the 5-12.
then who plays? Okay, so then you get Ohio State, Penn State.
Finally.
There it is. And then I'm real sorry for you, Clemson, but you got to play Oregon. And all right. So there you go. Clemson, Oregon at the 4-5. Utah, I got Utah, Texas, and then Ohio State, Penn State, and then Georgia, Missouri. And then one Georgia playing the 7-10 winner.
No. Number 1 Georgia plays the 8-9 winner.
Yeah, no, I had that. I said they won. They beat Missouri.
Okay.
Done.
Okay.
That game's done. We're watching me do brackets live. This is tremendous audio.
I was this is scintillating audio right now.
Yes, it is. And then they play the winner of and then the 4 seed. So they play the winner of the 4 seed game, which is Clemson, Oregon. Oregon.
Okay.
So you got Georgia, Oregon there.
Mhm.
And then I've got we got our 7-10 versus the 2. So we got Ohio State, Penn State. Carla, I'm real sorry. This is Ohio State. And the
Not me
winner
heard that
of
before.
and then 3-6-11. Do I think Texas could beat Utah? Yes. So I've got number 2 Ohio State versus number 6 Texas and Georgia and Oregon. And crap, I'm real sorry. That's Texas.
Okay.
And LOL, it's Oregon. So I've got a number 5 and a number 6, which means the top 4 don't make it to the finals. And I love this for me. And your national champions are your quack quack Oregon Ducks. First year in the Big Ten, wins the national title.
Go Big Ten.
I love that though, because you have Oregon winning the Natty, but Ohio State winning the Big Ten. Love it.
Okay.
Also, I have Texas being the SEC's representative in the national title game and Oregon being the Big Ten's representative. Neither of those teams were there last year.
Everything is weird.
We said something about weird. Yeah, that's yikes. Okay.
Crappy, break it down for us.
Well, I didn't do a bracket. Well, maybe we can go through this real quick and do this if you guys help me with who's playing who. Number 1, Georgia. Number 2, Ohio State. Number 3, Utah. Number 4, Florida.
You mean Florida State?
Florida State, excuse me.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Ooh, that's a different story.
Yeah. That would be a whole different thing. Number 5, Oregon. 6, Texas. 7, Ole Miss. 8, Notre Dame. 9, Penn State. 10, Clemson. 11, Tennessee, and 12, Liberty. Okay, so what are the first round? We have a 5-12.
So we go 8-9.
8-9. Penn State beats Notre Dame.
Okay. 5-12.
5-12. Oregon beats Liberty.
6-11.
I really like Tennessee. No, that's got to be Texas.
And then 7-10.
7-10. I think Ole Miss is going to beat Clemson.
Okay, and so then you have number 1 plays your winner of 8-9.
Number 1, Georgia and Penn State. Ouch, Carla, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Number 4 plays the winner of 5-12.
5-12 we said was Oregon. Oregon's going to beat Florida State.
And then number 3 plays the winner of 6-11.
6-11 is Texas. I've got the same Rock Fight versus Rocket Factory matchup.
We all do. I love that.
Do we all have that?
Yeah.
I'm gonna pick Utah. I'm gonna pick Utah there.
Nice. And then number 2 plays 7-10.
7-10. Ohio State and Ole Miss. I think yeah, Ohio State's gonna win that game.
Okay, and then you can do it from there.
No, I can't because I don't remember anything that I just picked.
Okay, so the winner of the 1 game plays the 4 game.
1 plays the 4 game. That was, who did I pick?
So Georgia versus
Sure.
who won?
Oregon.
Georgia versus Oregon.
Yeah, you picked Oregon to beat you picked Oregon to beat Florida State.
Yeah. I kind of like the Ducks there.
Okay, and then 3 and 2. Whoever.
3 and 2 would be, because I have Utah as the winner, so Utah's playing Ohio State, correct?
Okay.
Yes, I'm picking Ohio State there.
Okay, so then your national championship game is Oregon, Ohio State.
Is Oregon, Ohio State? I got to pick Ohio State. If we got, good Lord, we'd have to beat Oregon 3 times.
It's like video game design.
Yeah,
where you got to beat the boss, then you beat like a harder version of the boss, and then to like actually beat the game, you got to beat the like hardest version of the boss. It's like that.
It is.
I'm pretty sure like in the 3rd game, Puddles actually gets to go on the field with the motorcycle, and you have to like avoid the motorcycle during halftime.
Well,
that's how that works.
It's set up this way to celebrate the return of EA.
Yes.
Like that's really what it was. And also homework assignment. I'm putting my instructor hat on here.
Okay.
Homework assignment. Has any game been played 3 times in the same season? We need to go look that up and talk about it next week.
I would not think.
I would not think so either, but I could be totally wrong on that. So
okay.
The Fullcast put into the universe the concept of a three game series between Georgia and Alabama, because they were playing in the regular season. Then they would likely play in the SEC championship game, and then could potentially meet in the playoff. And there was the thought of that. And honestly, it with a 12-team playoff last year, Oregon Washington would have been on the table.
Yeah, that's true.
Because Oregon Washington played, and then they played in the championship game, and Oregon was, I believe, the 5 seed and didn't make the playoff. So theoretically, with the 12-team playoff, Oregon would have been in there. And hold on, I have this. Oregon would have been the 8 seed, who would have played the 1. I'm fucking it up again. They would have played the 1 seed. They would have played Michigan in the 2nd round. If they would have beaten Michigan, then they would have gotten Alabama. No, Oregon played in the 8 game. Yeah. So yeah, they would have been in the. Yeah, no, they would have played in the next round, because the 8-9. No, 8-9 plays 1. They would have played Michigan. Never mind. It wouldn't have. It would have required them to like get to the national championship game, I think.
Okay,
but it's possible there. It's possible here. Like I think that's something we should probably button up for. That at some point that's going to happen.
It is.
It's absolutely going to happen.
And the first thing that came to my mind is having 2 Michigan games in a season. I don't think that's going to happen this year, but somewhere down the road, yeah, it's going to happen, and it could be 3 games, which would not be good for my mental health. Boys and girls,
you'd be playing 2 of them back to back. You'd play in the game, and then you'd play the literal next week in the conference championship game. Congratulations, you're the American Conference now.
Boys and girls, you can hear the Carla and Crappy Show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and a variety of other podcasting hosts. You can watch us on YouTube and on the show's Facebook page. And you may recall from a year ago that you can now read us on Substack. If you like us, please subscribe, rate, and review. If you don't, mind your own damn business. And finally, be sure to come back next week to see exactly how wrong we were. AJ, one final thought.
This is a weird season.
Mhm.
Like we've talked about this a number of times, but all of the things between the Big Ten dropping divisions, the SEC dropping divisions, conference championship games being between like the number one, number two teams, right? Last year, remember during conference championship week, I had to like break down like here's like various tiebreakers. I look like the meme with the conspiracy theories. Everybody is playing to get into the conference championship games because if you win your conference championship games, you get the guaranteed bye in the playoffs. So the conference championship games still mean something. But I love the fact that this is the first season that it's felt open. It doesn't feel like, okay, these are the four teams and these four teams are definitely going to be in the playoffs and everybody else. You actually have an openness to the season. Things feel fresher in terms of these are new matchups to be played. I lament the death of my beautiful Pac-12, which does still technically exist according to the Pac-12 members themselves, Washington State and Oregon State. Go Beavs, go Cougs. But this is I'm going into the season with like, let's just see how it is and not like, oh, this doesn't feel right. Like it doesn't feel right that SMU is in the ACC. It still doesn't feel right.
No.
This is a reminder that Colorado, Utah, Arizona, and Arizona State are also in the Big 12. They came over. And UCLA, USC, Oregon, and Washington are also in the Big 10. Oregon-Washington is a Big 10 game this year.
Yes.
So just throwing that out there. There's a lot of movement. There's a lot of shifting. Also, welcome Kennesaw State. It's weird.
Yes.
Sorry. Yeah. But this is a new chance for a lot of teams. This is going to be a good season. I'm excited. Week 1, next week, week 0, get it ready, and let's go.
Let's go. Carla, a final thought from you?
So I had to go a little myopic with my thought because I didn't get to do a lot of talking about my nits here. So so let me do a couple very quick things here.
Please do.
I'm going to steal one from your playbook, Crappy, and say I don't give a damn about the whole state of Michigan because the Nits don't play either team in Michigan this year. Instead of the land grant trophy, we get slow turtles. Womp womp. Yeah, we closed the season with the Terps instead of the land grant, which means that the land grant is going to live in the bowels of Beaver Stadium for one more year. And we don't get to see its beautiful glory. And there's just something really wrong about that we're not going to see the land grant this year. The other thing is like, have you looked at Penn State's schedule? The mid-season for Penn State, there's a 6-week stretch. Let me just read it off for you so that I can weep. October 5th, UCLA at home. October 12th at USC. Then we get a bye. October 26th at Bucky.
Okay.
November 2nd, Ohio State in Beaver Stadium.
I'm familiar with them.
It's a little school.
November 9th, Washington in the whiteout game. Ouch. If you're going to win the Big Ten or the SEC this year, your schedule looks almost equally as brutal. That's the level of competition we have now due to all of the movement with all the different teams and the demise of our beloved Pac-12. So it's going to be, if you get to your conference championship game, you earned it this year, particularly in those two conferences, just because the level of competition is completely different now. I am not looking forward to that 6-week stretch because that's going to be Heartburn City. Just go ahead and buy stock in Tums now because I'm going to be eating them nonstop during that entire 6-week stretch. So it's going to be an interesting season, a weird season. Get your maps out, figure out where everybody is. Might need diagrams or any of that kind of fun stuff. But yeah, you got 1 week to figure this all out because next week we got a whole bunch of really fun games to talk about.
Oh, it's going to be good. My final thought, with all the additions that Ohio State made with the portal, and as we've touched a little bit, there are some excellent ones, including 3 Alabamians. I'm wondering if the biggest deal addition to Ohio State's team is Chip Kelly. The former head coach at UCLA, former head coach at Oregon, and also former head coach at New Hampshire when he coached a quarterback named Ryan Day. That is presumably how that happened. To see what a Chip Kelly offense can do with and I'm hopeful that it is a Chip Kelly offense and not a Chip Kelly offense diluted by Ryan Day. I'm pretty stoked to see what that's going to look like given Ohio State's talent on the offensive side of the ball. So look, that's something to pay attention to. Is Chip Kelly, Ohio State's offensive coordinator, the best addition that the Buckeyes made this offseason? Folks, I think that's all we got for you.
I did have one thing.
Yeah.
That I did see, and it leads into an Ohio State game in October.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
It's Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know that we've talked about how weird the season has the potential to be.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to put on the table 7-0 Nebraska entering the Ohio State game.
Okay.
Quick read of their schedule. They're playing UTEP, Colorado, Northern Iowa, Illinois, at Purdue. So they don't leave Lincoln until the end of September.
Right.
Rutgers, they're off, and then at Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be a lot of people who are very excited about a Nebraska-Ohio State game. And then the Ohio State game happens, and then they play UCLA at home. They're off. Then they go to USC. Then they're home for Wisconsin, and then they finish the season at Iowa. Mm-hmm. So it can fall down the stairs very quickly afterwards. So they could go from 7-0 to 7-5.
Mm-hmm.
Very possible.
Mm-hmm.
But I just want you all to be prepared for the potential excitement. I need you to talk to your children about the potential of a 7-0 Nebraska. Mm-hmm. Just putting that out there.
Okay. I will be potentially excited as we get into the season and I consider that game. I'm all for it. Bring them. That would be a lot of fun. Boys and girls, that's our show for week 0, year 13. Thanks to AJ for everything that you do. Carla, thank you for being here. Crappy?
Yes.
Hey, great. It's I'm happy to be here as well.
Did you just refer to yourself in the third person?
I certainly did.
That's awesome.
And Charlie.
13th season.
And Charlie.
We have Charlie. Hi, Charlie.
Here's Charlie's butt. Guys, enjoy the games this weekend. Be sure to watch the halftime show of the MEAC SWAC game, and otherwise, just enjoy college football because it is here one more time. Enjoy the games, everybody, and we will see you back here next week. Cheers, everyone. I didn't have a
cheers. Let's keep building that momentum.
Build that momentum. Hi.